Starladder falls! Liquid's doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down Burning! Alone with a double kill! Dropping fast! Monopoint's there! He's still alive! Wait, Roshan gets live! He's got one sub! He's got a second! He's taking it back! Oh my god! On three! They're all dead!
Welcome back once more, ladies and gentlemen. We have our final game of the day, Cloud9 versus AlbumSheet, underway. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Syndrin, and we are going to hop right into the draft. They started earlier than usual, and I'll admit it, I was not quite prepared. I was making a little bit of a lunch there. So, Syndrin, how are you, good sir?
I'm good. I feel like we don't even have time for that. We kind of have to get right into this, don't we? We're almost through the entire draft, so I'm good. Let's go. Okay.
They drafted quick. No reserve time burned. So, whew. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, both teams are really quick here. Let's see who had the first pick even. We jumped into this a little bit late. Okay, so this ban is with Cloud9. So AlbumSheet had the first pick. Okay. So AlbumSheet started out first picking Razor. The trade-off was an NP Skywrath, and then they got the Batrider for themselves. So it looks like Na'Vi are kind of setting a trend here for other CIS teams, bringing back the Batrider to high priority. Then it was Cloud9 with the Enigma Troll combination. This is almost the only team that plays Troll regularly for Fata solo mid. It used to be Mouse because of him, and now it's Cloud9 because of him. And AlbumSheet are going to get Shaker and Shaman, so pretty good picks all around, I have to say. I don't really have a clear favorite as far as the draft goes. I just have to say, I think AlbumSheet, based on TI4, they have some really good picks for pushing towers, but I guess so do Cloud9 with Eidolons and the Trans.
Yeah, and also Troll Warlord. He's a hero that synergizes really well with pushing because of that ultimate. The Battle Trance allows you to flash push towers so effectively, and especially once he hits level 11 and certainly it's level 16, it's pretty absurd how quickly those structures can melt. And, well, AlbumSheet will have their work cut out for him here. This is what Cloud9 likes to do. We talk about their greed, and if they can get away with a little bit of an early game advantage, the greed will continue to commence. And even a Dro Ranger ban from AlbumSheet, as I guess she would have synergized well with the push, even though they usually run her with Visage. Potential for a pocket pick here.
And I think they might be worried about how fast and how hard Drow hits with the Troll ultimate. It's kind of scary, actually, but
yeah,
there are other options I think Cloud9 would get before that. I'm looking at the Luna right now as an option. It's, I think, the most picked carry by Cloud9 when they're running sort of a pushing style lineup like this. The Luna for Eternal Envy, I think, would just be a solid choice, but perhaps they're nervous that she's too fragile in the laning stage and will be that AlbumSheet might take advantage of that with their early support rotations here. And they're going to get Spectre instead. Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I would not have... Spectre is not a hero that you normally associate with early game aggression or pushing, which is what the rest of the draft that Cloud9 has is kind of screaming to me. This is... I would not have predicted Spectre as the 5th pick, I think.
It has good synergy with Prophet, obviously. The global potential is great. They also have the global ultimate of Troll Warlord. And the moment they get any sort of pick-off open, like any sort of initiation with Skywrath or Enigma, they can just reinforce so heavily and take the kills. It also gives them a feeling of safety that should the game go late, they probably have the superior late game with Troll, Spectre, and Prophet combined, regardless of what last pick AlbumSheet takes. I actually think their late game is weaker. So it puts pressure on the opponent to push early and maybe forces out a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, very possible. It also makes me wonder what build the Spectre will go for here. If it's like a Vanguard opener or right into the Drum of Endurance so that he can be a little more aggressive, or she, depending if you're talking about Envy or Spectre as a hero. We'll see. I don't think this will be a Radiance Rush game, but I guess it depends on how much farm he finds. And if they knock down a couple of early tier 1s, it could be a very fast Radiance. After all, it will be Tidehunter as the final pick for AlbumSheet, and it looks like he will be slated for the offlane.
It's the classic way of putting a Tidehunter on both the Radiant and the Dire is, of course, the offlane. I think the nice thing about putting Tidehunter offlane in this game is he does really well in lane against melee carries. And since Cloud9 will be safe laning a Spectre with only one support on the lane when they're running an Enigma, he could get a lot in this offlane, and they could even consider running early rotations with the Shadow Shaman and Shaker to try to even kill the Spectre, or they could invade the Dire jungle early on and block off the camps to disallow Cloud9 from playing their greedy style. This is such a classic Cloud9 greedy pick. The one thing that stands out to me is the Spectre, which they've played in the past, but not so much recently, I believe.
Yeah, and we'll see how it works out for him. Now, on the side of AlbumSheet, I'm a little curious how their lanes will settle down, because Batrider seems to be the best candidate for mid if it's not the Razor. But Batrider not really the same mid presence that he used to be. And I don't normally think you would put Bat in a tri-lane, but we'll see how they do it.
One thing they could do, which would be really cool, was to aggressive tri-lane the Bat into the Spectre and just crush the lane. That would be a potential lane, and then they could safe lane the Tide and put Razor mid. I would like to see that, actually, now that I think about it, but they might not get the idea. They might not think it's good enough and that it's too high risk. But when you're playing against a greedy lineup like this, you're always looking to punish the lanes, because if you don't, you lose on gold. It's really that simple whenever you deal with Enigma. Since they haven't invaded the Dire jungle, okay, now they're doing it with a smoke here. They have to be careful not to use the battle on just flat-out economy.
Yeah, this is a pretty late invade, and no, it won't even be an invade. They'll just smoke into this cute little cubby right here. We've seen this strategy many a time before with the Earthshaker, because you can get a pretty easy fissure here, block them out from retreating to that Tier 1 tower, and there's potential for a first blood from AlbumSheet. But Cloud9 could be privy to it. If I'm not did they try to do this yesterday? I think this is a pocket strat that they really enjoy running. We saw it yesterday. I don't remember which team it was, but it may have been AlbumSheet.
Yeah, it was. They tried doing this on Dendi and it failed.
Yeah.
So
they'll try their dice here on
better execution this time.
On Fada. Fada starts boots first on this troll with 3 branches. So this will not be the easiest gank, as he has a pretty significant movement speed edge over all 3 of these heroes. It will indeed be Batrider in the mid lane, played by Chomi. Big Num is on the Shadow Shaman, and that puts their stand-in Vova Pain on the Earthshaker here. They will be patient. 2 stacks of Sticky already up on Fada. Make it 3. Maybe that's what they were waiting for. And with 4 stacks, there is a little bit of potential here. Very aggressive position. There's the Shackle. They don't even need the Fissure quite yet. They will connect, and this time the first blood will be secured. It's Earthshaker that gets the last hit and finds the bonus gold.
Yeah, very easy kill here. Fata started with the boots because he thought he was against the Razor, who generally is a great lane counter to Troll. Razor just flat out beats every single hero in the game, almost. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions that only farm with attacks. And Troll, yes, he can start farming with Whirling Axes, but he needs to get a few levels first. Whoa. And yeah, wow, that was not a kill I was expecting.
Yeah.
Skywrath and Spectre only killing the Tide, which should be almost impossible, actually.
I'm scratching my head as well. I'll be honest, I totally missed that one. Tidehunter is one of those heroes in the early game that is rarely ever concedes a death like that, but he did go Anchor Smash, no Kraken Shell, and Skywrath was just killed by a newt. What the hell's going on
I think that was on
here?
purpose, though. If you look where he died, he died here, and he just hit this. Or he wanted to stack. No, he couldn't have stacked anyway. And that must have been on purpose, just to refill his mana.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've spent all of your unreliable gold, then you don't lose anything. It's just a free trip back to the well. It is a strategy that we've seen before. But yeah, Tide, even with the Anchor Smash, he should be able to mitigate a lot of the damage that Spectre puts out. He did pick up an Orb of Venom early on. By he, I mean Eternal Envy, so perhaps that was enough to tip the scales, an item that is pretty good against the Tide. We talked about it yesterday in context of the Kraken Shell. But interesting.
Are they really going to try again? No. Okay, Pilot Ice just harassing here.
Finds an invisibility room, but walks right into a sentry, takes a fissure. If he'd been trapped on the other side, they may have been able to secure a kill. But the fissure comes out just a pinch too early. So let's check out these other lanes here. We've got stand-in Ink Visitor on the position 1 Razor, farming away on the safe lane. And who is on that Tide? That is No Fear here in the off lane. It is Bone 7 just in the dire off lane in a 1v3 scenario. So I think needless to say here, Razor finding a lot of farm out of the gate, as he well should be. But C9 will have a more efficient laning phase, compliments of that Enigma in the jungle.
Yeah, as long as they don't lose the lanes too much and they still farm, especially the Enigma and the Spectre, I think they're going to be fine. And in that mid lane, they ganked Fatsa very early on, but he's still on par with farm together with the Batrider here, so he's looking good. He's recovered very easily here, and overall the early game here for Cloud9 is going according to their plan. The gold is even, but they're almost 1,000 experience ahead already, and that's just what you're going to get from running that greedy jungler here. And the punishment from AS just hasn't really seemed to be there that much just yet. They got a good kill mid, and then that's it. Like, that's the only kill they got. It looks like it's 2 for 1, but that's because Pilot Eye suicided to the neutrals.
Yeah, and yeah, you're exactly right about that. Spectre just picking up boots now. I'm still curious what Eternal Envy will go in terms of item builds here. To me, this screams like an early aggression build. If it's not a Vanguard, then just phase boots into drums and then go from there.
For it.
Yeah, we'll see a dive up top onto No Fear. A TP is coming in. It's the Earthshaker. He'll block in. Pylai die. They'll find a return kill. Anchor smash enough to bring him down. Envy walks away from the Spectral Dagger, but wow, a turnaround, and now AlbumSheet will find another kill.
Yeah, very nice reaction here. But it's also this kind of dive against the Tide. It's just not. It's not gonna work at this point. When all they have is a Skywrath and a Spectre on the lane, this kill takes so long that it's very easy to TP and support like Vulvapain did on the Shaker right here. And they need to be careful not to give the Tide too much. He's already level 5 now at 4 minutes. He did die first, but this return kill is putting him in a great position where an early Ravage in this game, together with their other abilities, is just going to give them superiority in teamfights early on. I feel as in mid, they just managed to get Chomi with the Batrider.
Great rotation from the Bone 7. That's the power of the Nature's Prophet. You think of him as a pusher, but oh, return kill from Vulvapain won't be there as Bone 7 survives. You think of him as a pusher, but in this early aggression, he can very easily turn 1v1s or 2v1s into an even matchup and even give you the little edge you need. I don't think they would have had that kill without the Nature's Prophet, and that will level it out once more. Bottom tier 1 tower falls as he leaves the lane. Ink Visitor capitalizes and gets a very early tower last hit.
Yeah, they don't even have a good lane for pushing. This is really good news for AS here to get that tower so early. They don't even have a Basilius. They actually pushed it just by using Plasma Field and some attacks on the tower here.
Yeah, I mean, completely
pretty impressive to get a 5-minute tower then.
Yeah, the Siege Creep doing some work as well. But interesting, he grabbed the Ring of Protection but still hasn't upgraded it into the Basilius. That's kind of rare, but I guess rushing the phase boots is also something that is worthwhile. No Fear up top. It will be a 4-on-1 this time. Nature's Prophet joining the party. 2 points in the Kraken Shell. Buys him a lot of time. The Sprout comes out. He cuts right through it. Out comes the Fissure to break things up. And again, Pylai Die takes a few tower shots. Almost goes down. There is support here. He will survive. But this push will be thwarted. If they want to commit to it, they need to be careful. They have a lot of low health heroes. And Fissure will be up in just 1 second. Arcane Boots already on the Shaker.
Oh, Pilot Eye's in too far.
Yeah, that's an easy Fissure, and No Fear. He can't get in range for the Anchor Smash. He still falls to the Razor as he comes in, uses a Plasma Field, and that will be the end of the Skywrath. Pylai Die, just underestimating the damage output from AlbumSheet here. Maybe not realizing that Vulvapain has Arcane Boots.
They're just being too pushy in this top lane. It's not going to work against these heroes right now. The Shaker is constantly missing on the map, so they can expect him to be around the top lane or at least have a TP. And the Tide is Anchor Smash level 3 in a Razor with high-level Plasma Field. This kind of push will not work yet. They need to either get a gank first and then try to get the tower, but since the gank failed on Tide, they should have probably just given up on the push. Or they should try to rotate to other lanes, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Eternal Envy has gone to the bottom lane. He's done with the top lane. Looks like he's going for an Urn build, which is interesting. It's something I heard about just recently. I think it was introduced to me in a guide by Slasher, who started trying it on Spectre. And I guess the logic is it gives you a little bit of tankability. It helps you with your mana problems that Spectre definitely does have. And since you're contributing to a lot of kills, the early Urn charges are really going to be coming your way. So I like the idea of the build a lot. We'll see if it works well this game.
Yeah, I have not had the privilege of seeing it in a live game, but up top we'll see Ink Visitor in some trouble. Aoi 2000 wraps around the Haunt from Eternal Envy, makes it an easy kill as Ink Visitor hangs around a bit too long. He did try to commit for a kill onto Bone 7. He just TP'd out. Of course, Razor has no way to interrupt it. And nice rotation from Cloud9 to punish it. That will help find Spectre some needed recovery farm and pushes him close to the top of the net worth chart, just trailing by about 200 or so behind the Razor. Mid lane, No Fear, getting engaged upon by Fada, but really just harassing. Tide is now level 6 though, so Ravage is online, and AlbumSheet can take a team fight, and they can defend these towers when Cloud9 decide they want to start pushing again.
And one hero we haven't seen that much just yet is the Batrider of Chomi, and now we will. It's an 8-minute Blink Dagger with 52 CS. He's just been given free reign of his own jungle, has given the mid lane to Tide for a little bit, and now it looks like Shadow Shaman will be taking the lane to get a fast level 6 too. I feel like a lot of things in this game for AS, considering that they're against a greedier lineup and that they're still holding fairly even on the gold. And Experience, they're quite far behind, but just looking at their lineup, I feel like impact-wise, they can do a lot right now with their lineup. They have the Ravage, level 4 Plasma Field, Blink Dagger on Bad Rider, level 3 Fissure. Whereas Cloud9, they have a level 5 Skywrath. The level 6 in him is going to be crucial. Spectre just used Haunt and is a pretty weak hero at this stage in the game. And there's no big items coming up for the Prophet or the Troll yet. I think AS's lineup right now in a teamfight is just flat out stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially once Rasta hits level 6. There is still no mech on the Enigma. He does have Black Hole, but once the mech comes out, that will give them a lot more teamfight power. Just not quite there. 9 minutes is earlier than an Enigma will find a mech if there's no tower that's fallen. And with that said, Cloud9 will start to pressure this bottom tier 1 tower, but right there, Inquisitor comes in with a Plasma Field. It helps clear up the creep wave, and they really don't even do much damage to the tower. Only a couple hundred, but it will stand with plenty of hit points to spare.
Inquisitor himself is about, let's see, 800 off the mech for the Radiant, so probably getting it at around the same time as the Enigma. And that's usually one of the big boons of Enigma, is that you have the mech advantage because you just get it earlier than whatever mid laner or support the enemy team has getting it, but it looks like it's going to be fairly similar timing here.
They'll catch the tide again. He tried to ravage it, but they interrupted him just as he went for it. And the Black Hole needed, I think if he could have gotten off the ravage, he would have been able to walk back to safety. So good use of that first hole from Aoi 2000, secures a kill on the Tide, and it does get a little bit of extra gold going the way of Spectre, and of course a little extra experience. Doesn't hurt either.
Looks like Chomi now on the hunt in the bottom lane. Nice Treant scouting out here from Bone 7 though, so this will not be successful at all.
Yeah, I think they saw...
Or he just used the smoke. That was really obvious.
Yeah.
Pylite Eye might be dead already. Inquisitor is going to kill him even without the Bat Rider showing up, so...
Yeah, Bat does have the Blink Dagger at the ready. He wants Bone 7, but just won't get there fast enough. Cloud9 not looking as tight as I would have thought right now. They're sort of getting picked apart by AlbumSheet, and Cloud9 are the heavy favorites here. Fissure up top will block Eternal Envy in. Spectral Dagger does change the state of things a little bit for Spectre versus Earthshaker, but I think the bets right now are like 90-10, something like that, in favor of Cloud9, maybe 85-15. Pretty one-sided, and AlbumSheet are off to a pretty good start in this game. Rasta's now 6th, throws down some wards, and this tier 1 tower will fall below half health. Chomi in the tree line, ready to blink over and connect with the lasso. Pylite Die comes in, will finish off the Shadow Shaman, but there's the Ravage as Eternal Envy haunts in. Bone 7 pops over the tree line. Chomi will grab him with the lasso, but no fear, he's committed deep, and he will fall. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Cloud9, but they lose their Nature's Prophet as they secure the kill onto Bat Rider. Fada tries to man up against Inquisitor, but that's not happening. Has a little bit of extra damage to his name, and that will be a 3-for-2 when it all settles down. Cloud9 find the better of it, but they take a lot of damage on that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, worth noting, though, is in that fight there was no Shaker or Enigma, and I think the Shaker at this point is a little more important in the team fight than the Enigma, at least without the mech being used, which he does have at this point. There's the one for Razor. That could have made a big difference there, but...
Yeah.
If you look at how Cloud9's games went yesterday, they had a pretty good first game. I think it was against Alliance, where at least the early game went well for them, and then they got crushed in their second game by Virtus Pro. Absolutely manhandled, and maybe they're just not at in their best shape right now.
Yeah, Bone 7 will get initiated upon, but they won't have the follow-up. The tower's gone down then. Big Dumb falls to the Mystic Flare off to the side, and kind of multiple fights breaking out here. Inquisitor looking to pursue that kill. He'll be forced back and may actually fall. Blink Rider goes back to safety.
Nice. I like that.
And no fear now, trying to finish off Eternal Envy. Has an Anchor Smash, no Ravage. There's a Flame Break, actually knocks him to the low ground, throws him a bone, but kind of doesn't matter. The Spectral Dagger really secured the getaway. No Black Hole available, but the Midnight Pulse will do some extra damage to No Fear. He gets left behind and does fall. So once again, Cloud9 get a decent exchange, but they do lose the tower. So AlbumSheet, it's not a total loss, but certainly not a victory. Down bottom, maybe they can find a recovery. Bone 7, blinked upon. Mr. Bat Rider finds the lasso, and nowhere for the Prophet to go. He shall fall to the wrath of a fiery doom.
A very easy kill. Now Bat Rider will be porting mid. I don't know whether he can hold this. Probably can just intimidate them a little bit here. Dagger comes out, though, from Envy. Will be a fissure here.
Yeah, follow-up as well. Obviously, no blink available, but Inquisitor stealing a lot of damage from Fada. Plus 56 on him, throws out the Plasma Field. A few more auto attacks will bring down Aoi. He's on the run and getting stunned up by the Malefice. They can't bring him down quite yet. A lot of armor. He does fall to the whips of the Razor. Haunt out from Envy. Which one does he hop to? Down bottom. He wants Big Num, and he will find him. That's a kill for the Spectre. And that will level it out once again. 11-10. They traded the Enigma for the Rasta.
A lot of action in this early game. I'm not sure who really favors the most. I guess a little bit to Cloud9 just by virtue of their hero composition. If they play an even game here in the start and don't get picked apart too much from their weaker laning stage, then I think they're looking okay. Top lane Inquisitor. We'll be forcing out Bone 7 here, and maybe that's the next target. So Big Num didn't use the Mass Serpent wards here. He had a chance of using them on the Spectre, and I think it was a good call not to use them. Spectre obviously has Face Boots and Stifling Dagger to get out of them, but because he didn't use them, they're available right now, and this tower top is not long for life, I think.
And down bottom, Chomi will TP in. No lasso for another 10 seconds. Takes a silence from Pylai Die. Mystic Flare over the tree line. It's a dead Bat Rider. Now Vova Pain in the mix. Has a Fissure and an Echo Slam, but in comes the Enigma. Can't get off the dunk. The mech will help pick him up, and this is all of a sudden a 4-hero rotation down bottom. It will be a tier 1 for tier 1 tower exchange, but AlbumSheet are the ones that take the big hero losses. Glyph comes out on the side of Cloud9. That buys them some time. They will take out the tower first and also create some space for Fada in the mid. He's pressuring this tower hard, has a ultimate in about 3 seconds, and this should be a 2-for-1 tower exchange. And of course, Cloud9 got the bonus of those hero kills.
And they're continuing the push bottom with the Troll ultimate Battle Trance already available again here, so TP will have to come in from Inquisitor. He's still alone though, and this tower might fall as well. Envy going really deep on this one.
Yeah, Inquisitor needs to be careful. Support is inbound, but a little slow to the party. Bat Rider now, lasso available. Glyph has already been burned as this tower takes heavy damage. Chomi finds Aoi 2000. He's got a black hole and a good target to go for. They don't have the follow-up damage though. He gets mech'd. Now the damage comes out and he will fall. Inquisitor taking a lot of damage from the backside. He will stay alive, and this tier 2 tower will stay standing with just a couple of hit points to spare, barely outside of deny range. And Cloud9 are ultimately repelled.
They still got the better trade off of that, though. They didn't really take any damage on the tier 2 top. They got 2 towers for the price of 1, and they're starting to farm the Radiant jungle. This vision, or this ward right here, rather, is allowing Fatsa to play very freely right now. He's going to see Big Num here. And it's going to trigger a Haunt. Very easy kill coming in here for Cloud9. And looks like the Shadow Shaman is just their preferred target. Keep him locked down so he doesn't get the level 11, doesn't get a blink, so they can just continue controlling the map.
Yeah, he's the big pusher for AlbumSheet, so I think the strategy makes some sense. If they can stop their pusher from having reign of the map, and especially that Blink Dagger, a huge initiation power there. Not that AlbumSheet are lacking much in initiation with the Tide and the Bat Rider, but Fada maybe biting off more than he can chew. That's a Ravage onto the Troll Warlord. Can they bring him down, though? Eye of the Storm doing a lot of damage and draining a lot of that right click. That will be a kill on the Troll. Eternal Envy forced the TP home. No way to interrupt it. Flame Break almost flying through, but I think it was going to fall short anyhow.
Oh, top lane Bone 7 is going to be fast enough at backing off here. Big Num has no way of closing the gap. Also, nice Sprout here. Yep. Oh, the Mass Serpent wards.
Wow. That is
really nice play by Bone 7. He thought that the Prophet would be inside his own Sprout, so just dropping the wards for vision, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, very cheeky indeed. And I guess would have been a kill had the wards come down, so it was a good thought, but just bested by Bone 7 there. Cheeky plays indeed. All tied up in hero kills, 14 to 13, but it is the Dire side with a pretty massive advantage, about 4,000 gold, 5,000 experience, and they'll move straight into the Roche Pit. That gold lead is damn significant because the tower count is actually even right now. Both teams have 3 tower kills. All of the tier 1s have gone down. All tier 2s still standing. So all of that farm is basically just farm around the map that they've found. And, well, some of the additional pickup they found in that 1 hero kill advantage, I suppose. But
and another thing worth noting is that the highest net worth is on Spectre, and that's really grim news for AS. This hero is generally one of the best carries in the game, even though it's not the most farmed hero in the game. Just by virtue of how its abilities work, Desolate and Dispersion percentage-based, or sorry, Desolate is not percentage-based, but Dispersion is, and then of course the Desolate, the more items you get and the faster you attack, the more it procs. Yeah, we're going to see Big Num. He's going to get cleaned up every single time. He's just the target.
As soon as Roche fell, Eternal Envy haunted, found Big Num, and jumped to him right away. It's like clockwork at this point. That's pretty much the beacon of their strategy, as it seems. Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory of Eternal Envy, and he has 3,800 gold just about. If he wants a relic, he can find it. He did go Phase Boots, Drums, and Urn of Shadows, and could still actually be at a decent Radiance timing if that's the item he wants to go for.
I think it would be a good call. If nothing else, they can just control the map and he can keep farming a lot faster with the Radiance and transition into his next item. It's still a great pickup on Spectre, even if you don't get it sub 20. If you get it sub 25, I think it's still a good choice in most games. I think this one is no exception.
Yeah.
And he can just, the heroes on the Radiant side have pretty low health pools, most of them. Only Razor is very tanky. Tide is okay, but even then, just having the Radiants bother him is going to make it really hard for him to blink. As long as one of the Spectres is inside the range of him, the Blink Dagger will never be available.
And there are 2 Blink Daggers out already. 3 rather. Bat Rider, Earthshaker, and the Tide, and you know that Shadow Shaman will try to get one. He's been slowed down quite a bit, but that's a potential of 4 Blink Daggers, and Radiance is so good against that initiation tool. Album
Did
sheet.
he buy?
Group
He did
up
buy
in
the relic.
Did he get the relic? Yep. Oh,
yeah.
Goody. And halfway to the recipe. They will concede their tier 2 tower in the mid lane, but they grab a tier 2 tower in the bottom. So Cloud9 still trading evenly on towers, and Envy just getting really big at this point.
Oh, look who we found.
Oh, it's Big Num. Can they interrupt him? No, they can't. He barely survives as he TPs home. Shomi moves into the Ancients, and will Firefly over the cliff. He'll be okay.
It's gotta suck playing the Shadow Shaman this game. It seems like whenever you show anywhere on the map, you just get haunted on and killed.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult to play under those circumstances here for Big Num. He still managed to get a couple of towers, though, for his team. They've taken 4 now. But the issue is, when can they really breach high ground? I think controlling the map at this point against Cloud9's lineup is really difficult unless if you buy a gem. I think they have to counterward the map, so these haunt pickoffs are not so easy to find. It seems like Cloud9 are playing with a lot of confidence all of a sudden. Like, they have Enigma in the enemy jungle farming. They know Eternal Envy almost has the Radiance. Never mind, he actually has it.
Yeah, I mean, just
I think they might have missed their timing window already, to be honest with you.
I mean, Envy is massive. He's 9,000 on net worth, #1, but just looking at that inventory, that's way more than you would expect a Spectre to have at the 20-minute mark. And a lot of that is because he's picked up so many kills. He's 4-0-9. He's been involved in 13 of the 15. Of course, it's pretty easy to rack up those assists with Haunt, as you do get damage on every opponent, but still, Envy has just picked up so much from this early fighting, and he has been the only one that's evaded death so far, which of course is great news for him.
Yeah, now that he has the Aegis, I don't see AS killing him twice in a fight unless they kill everyone else first, and that should be their approach. If they go on him, the level 4 dispersion is going to deal a lot of damage to them. He will still probably get the Haunt off for massive AoE damage, and then his team will just get so much space that there's probably going to be a good Black Hole or a Mystic Flare to snipe. Guess what? I'd probably the Shadow Shaman he'll go for. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And they can't kill Envy twice, so they have to find an angle to get in from, and this is not good news. No Fear might be forced to use the Ravage here. I think Envy's just going to die for this. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he even haunts
no
just
Ravage
in case.
used, he's going to die.
He doesn't even need to haunt to secure that one. Now he'll go in on Shomi. Envy diving almost to the tier 4s, but finds a double kill. Only gets taken down to half health. There's a Fissure that'll block him out. Beautiful Force Staff brings him back to safety. He gets mech'd up, and now they just reinitiate. Ink Visitor caught in the Mystic Flare. Whoa! The dunk from the Earthshaker does a lot of damage, secures no kills, and it will be a dunk to his death. Eternal Envy does fall, though, and that procs the Aegis. Now he's back at full health, and mid-tier 2 falls. AlbumSheet in big trouble here, Syndra, and their tier 3 is fair game. Glyph comes out straight away. They have a lot of big ultimates here to try and turn things around, but already this tier 3 taking a lot of damage. There, the Rasta Ward's coming down. Ink Visitor on his way in. Plasma Field to help chip away at their health. And Cloud9 will be repelled, but not without doing a lot of damage to that
Really
tower.
good axes thrown out there by Fada, preventing the Tide from blinking. That would have been an easy 2-man Ravage, maybe even 3, and they would have got at least 2 of those kills. So very nice defensive play here, backing out at that point. At the same time, though, Phone 7, it's not easy playing Prophet against the Bad Riders. Prophet's strength is this split pushing and going for a Blink Dagger so that whenever threats arrive, you can blink into the trees and TP out, but Bad Rider will just find you with Firefly. Flying Vision, Force Staff, and Blink. It's so easy for Chomi here, and at the very least for AS they get a kill here, but this game is... They don't have much to hold on to anymore. We said from the beginning that they have the weaker early game no matter what they pick. They did it really well, I think, in the start they could have got a little bit more out of, but then in the early parts of the mid game they got a couple of towers, a couple of good kills, but since then it's just been Cloud9's game the whole way.
Yeah, Envy has just picked up a bit too much momentum.
And there's a BKB on Enigma.
Yeah, that is very scary. I think we've only seen one Black Hole from Owie this game. It was that solo kill on Tide early on. But now with the BKB, they have nothing to deal with this. So I guess the lasso will cut through the BKB, but
that's difficult.
That is, yeah, that is not one that you can really count on at all. So I was gonna say game changer, but it won't really change much. It'll prevent this game from getting changed, I guess is the right way to put it.
Gamekeeper. Oh,
mid
lane, Volva Pain.
Yeah, goes in on Fada, but there's support inbound, and he will just hop to his death. That was a bit ambitious. And the
Good
rest
news,
of his
though,
team
Shadow
will just
Shaman
escape.
survived.
Yeah, that's good news. But now Cloud9 press forward, and this will be a difficult defense to mount. They do have roster wards that just cooled down, Ravage and Lasso. But
the problem is, if they have to keep using their ultimates defensively every single time, even should they get a good fight, they get nothing more. There's nothing to claim for them. All the lanes are pushed because of Nature's Prophet. Eternal Envy is also doing his work at multiple lanes if he wants to, at least. He could just go to more than one lane. He's farming the jungle for now, but you can just see the entire map is just under Cloud9's control. So should they take a great defensive fight, they get no tower, no Roche, and I don't even know if they can take the fight they're imagining, because they have to either kill the entirety of Cloud9 and then the Spectre, or they have to kill Spectre after he uses Haunt, because else he just comes back in with a buyback Haunt and kills all of them. And they can't kill the Spectre without committing big ultimates. I don't think a Lasso is going to be enough. I think they need either the Ravage or the Echo Slam to bring down Envy at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. He's up to 9 armor now with some of that agility gain, and he is tanking up slowly but surely. Now has an Ogre Club, probably looking towards a BKB. Will be a 5-hero smoke from AlbumSheet towards the bottom rune. They find no one and will be forced to retreat here. Roche actually coming up for too long. We'll see how long that RNG portion of the timer will be, but could be an early Roche if C9 get a little lucky. Bone 7 finds one, but he will just TP out. There is some decent ward vision for the Radiant side, though. That smoke did allow them to put a ward down right outside the Roche pit on their side of the river and in the mid lane. So they're anticipating Cloud9 moving into the Roche pit pretty much right when he respawns, and I think they will want to contest it this time around. They bump into Eternal Envy in the jungle. They find him with a lasso. No fear is here, and he has a Ravage, but no mana for it. Envy will fall. They don't need the Ravage, and there you go. That's the pick off that they needed. It is a long Roche respawn.
If they catch him all by himself like that, then they can definitely do it. But if there's any sort of backup in that situation, they have to commit a Ravage, I think so. But no need for it. Very easy kill. And AS, the question is, can they get anything out of this? What's the collateral? They're going to push out the mid lane, which is great. But can they get anything more? Another thing I wanted to say is, I said AS probably need to get I believe I said they need to get a gem, but I think Cloud9 should also get a gem at this point. They're controlling the map. The only real way they can start losing control of this game is if these wards from AS allow them to get some sort of pick-offs like the one they just got. But if there's no vision on the map, they might not even dare going into their own jungle. And Pylite could pick up a gem right now. He's actually going pretty greedy 4-staff into Atos. I think just the 4-staff alone and then a gem would have been really good right now.
Yeah, I second the notion on that one, Synderen. Fada is getting pretty big, though. We haven't really talked about him too much, but he has a Manta and a Vlad's with 3,000 gold to spare. Also now level 16, so Battle Trance is that much more effective. 180 attack speed for 7 seconds. This is when structures will really melt if they have the time to just focus on them for only a couple seconds without the glyph. There is also a Blink Dagger on the Enigma. I like to think of this as the trifecta of Enigma items. Blink, BKB, Mech, the 3 big things you need to turn a game around if need be, or make the big plays happen.
It generally is when you have these items that Enigma peaks. Or I would say Enigma has 2 peaks. The first one is when you have the early mech and you start taking towers. And the second point is when you have the BKB and or Blink. In this game, I think the Blink is actually pretty important. But just having the BKB so you can like pop your BKB and walk in and force enemies away. Because they know if they come closer, they get black holed. And if they try to run away, if you just hit a Malefice, they're probably in trouble anyway. So yep. I think the BKB is generally a more important item on Enigma than the Blink, but once you have that, you have the whole package, like you said.
Yes, indeed. So Cloud9 may just be waiting out for Roche.
Smoke?
Yeah, they are smoked up, and up top lane, Eternal Envy.
Oh, not again, Envy.
Gets initiated
upon.
Not
again, Envy.
Oh, he haunts this time, but he can't get to it. They burn Ravage, wards, shackles, everything under the sun. There's even a lasso left for him.
And he's still got a kill.
He gets a kill on the Shadow Shaman. Bone 7 comes in, finishes off Chomi. There's a Mystic Flare on the No Fear. Vova Pain hops forward, but he gets silenced. He doesn't have a Fissure, does have the Echo Slam available, but he is perhaps in some trouble. Tide trying to make the escape. Bone 7 hops forward, interrupts the Blink. Yep, No Fear. He should fall here. A few more auto attacks. Malefice will bring him down. Vova Pain hops into the tree line. Has no TP, though, on cooldown. And he falls. So they get Envy, but the collateral is pretty massive.
Yeah. If this is a pub game, the Spectre asks, worth? Do you think that was worth it? Is that a good play?
That's the appropriate response. 3 ultimates just to bring down the Spectre. And sure, they did that, but then they had nothing left when the backup arrived, as it were. And now Roche is up.
That was definitely not worth it.
Perfect time to take a successful team fight for Cloud9 as well, because this means an uncontested Roshan.
Yeah, and they're going to give the Spectre to... yeah, let's try that again. They're going to give the Aegis to the Spectre probably here. He does have a full inventory, but once they get the Roshan, he will be able to buy the BKB, and they can probably safeguard the pit. Or they give the Aegis to Fata because they don't want to risk getting it snatched here by the Batrider. But
yeah,
well, we'll see what the choice is. No, they're just going to wait.
Yeah, they'll try to hold Roche low, send the Eidolons in. Sacrificial Eidolons.
He's attacking a little bit.
Yep, very noble little blueberries here. But they will fall. Envy's on his way in, and yeah, that'll be the Aegis for him. I think they want Envy to get the last hit as well. I think Fata actually sniped it, so perhaps not. And what does he drop? Looks like he will just put his urn on the ground. So doesn't even sell it. He just leaves it on the ground.
He'll get it in a moment when he gets his BKB
for the courier.
out.
Yep. So what else is coming out here? The BKB recipe and an Orchid coming out for Bone 7. So now he's clicking a little faster, a little harder, and nice synergy there with the Maelstrom.
Yeah, who does he want to Orchid? There's a couple of plays he can make here. He can Orchid the Tide and then ignore him so the Kraken Shell doesn't break the silence, or Orchiding the Shaker is probably a really good play, and maybe a better one, since it's harder to control the Kraken not going off when you have a hero like Spectre in the mix and a lot of other AoE damage. He can try to make the Kraken Shell go off, but if you Orchid the Shaker when he blinks in, maybe he gets the Echo off, but if he doesn't get the full combo, then the Echo Slam itself is not scary enough, I think. Uh-oh, top lane.
Yep, Cloud9 starting to converge, all 5 heroes rotating. AlbumSheet do have 5 heroes in the vicinity. They're sort of posturing like they want to defend this tier 2, but I think they'll just try to delay and then make the defense at the tier 3, and that's exactly what's going to happen. They'll bide some time with the Fissure, the Eidolon still chipping away at it, but I'm not sure if that really helped all that much. I guess now they'll all burn down, but that just buys time for the creeps to stay alive and this next creep wave to get here, so there's even more units on the field. And Cloud9 are going to be unrelenting with this push as they continue to press forward. BKB up on Spectre too. Inquisitor, whoa. Okay.
The BKB on Spectre is a rather unusual choice. You generally go for something like a Heart or a Manta because you want to take damage so your dispersion works. But I think in this case, just the raw amount of stuns and general disables that AS has, it might be a better call just to go the BKB and be able to run in and commit into the fight. And then, you know, you can, when you have the Aegis, you can have your first life be the one where you don't use your BKB, or you can let it be the one where you use your BKB. You kind of, you choose based on the scenario what starts out happening, and then on your second life, you know you're still incredibly strong. So
yeah,
maybe in this game it's a good call. Here we go. Owie's gonna go. Oh, what an echo!
Oh, but where's the follow-up damage? There's the black hole. Drops the Earthshaker. Inquisitor gets caught inside as well. They'll bring down the Aegis, but Inquisitor will indeed take the tumble. Rasta wards have already fallen. Batrider now gets picked off. Eternal Envy's back. It's a 3 for Aegis exchange. A glyph is available, and there is backdoor protection. Creeps are not in the base right now. That will buy AS some time. What do they have in the way of buybacks? Not a hell of a lot. Now Creeps make it into the base. Backdoor protection is expired, and this top lane of Rax will take a tumble. Batrider does buy back, has a lasso available, but will it be enough to keep the Rax alive? It does not look like it.
No, and they could even go for a secondary lane, perhaps. There's 30 seconds on Razor. They should know he doesn't have buyback since he just got his BKB before that fight. But they could also try to just choose to play it safe here. It depends. Maybe if they get a pick off here, they try to commit, or maybe it goes the other way.
Chomi finds Fata. There's the follow-up, though. They'll go right onto him. Ravage from No Fear does a lot of damage. It might be enough to bring down Owie. He makes it out of the base. Fata somehow still alive as well. Envy diving deep, finds the Shadow Shaman, now goes on to Vova Pain. Looks like he will get picked off as well. Fata even coming back in, throws the axes, and now it's just the Tide Hunter alive. He'll make it back to the well, but just barely. Cloud9 still have all 5 alive, which I find hard to believe after that beautiful Ravage. The mech from Owie was a close call.
Just on the edge there, keeping them alive. And actually now Inquisitor, if he dies here, this is the game.
Yeah,
probably.
He will pop his BKB. Tide blinking forward, wants a kill onto Fata, but now he'll get silenced. Skywrath Mage off to the side, doing so much work here. Tide falls, Inquisitor BKBs, makes a run for it. It doesn't work, and that's it. AlbumSheet will tap out. 32 minutes of gameplay. Cloud9 secure a pretty convincing win.
And the funny thing is, this might be the longest game we had today, or at least
one of the longer ones.
It feels like it was the longest game we had. Maybe the second longest. The first one we had might have been a little bit longer. Navi versus Alliance.
I think game 2
I'm
was
not even
actually the
sure.
longest. It was like 36 minutes though. So this is up there, which is weird to say with only 32 minutes. Pretty short.
But yeah, you're right. I feel like the early game from C9, they still need. This is not their A game. I think they still looked a little bit shaky in the early game. A couple of bad decisions in the top lane, and it took them a while. But come the early part of the mid game and the mid game, they started to make some much better decisions here, especially putting good use to the Haunt in particular. I think Eternal Envy played a really good game here, and in addition to that, the Troll ultimate, the entire composition they had, they managed to take down the towers at the right time and get control of the map fairly early. And AS, of course, going in as the big underdogs, I still think they made a pretty good statement in the early game, but just couldn't. They had a couple of fights, I feel like, in the mid-game where they were just flat out outnumbered, where it seemed like they were cocky and going in with 3 heroes instead of 4 or 5 when it was kind of obvious that the support would be there when you're against the Spectre and Prophet, but they still went for it, and they really got to pay the price. When you're against this kind of global stuff, you almost have to go together.
Yep, absolutely.
So
that wraps up our coverage today, guys. We have another 4 games scheduled for tomorrow, so Starladder EU will continue. Same place, same time. Coverage right here on twitch.tv/DotaStarladder_EN. I'm Zayori, casting from the BTS studio. You can follow me on Twitter at ZayoriTV, and my co-caster Synderen at SynderenDota, both of those in the title of this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. The the Starladder ticket is now in the Dota 2 store. A lot of folks have been asking where it is. It's finally here, $9.99. You get a tiny set and access to a lot of matches. This is the very beginning of this season. The Chinese qualifier hasn't even started yet, so there are still over 200 games to come. It is absolutely a value ticket. And, of course, you can watch in game and control the camera for yourselves if that's something that you enjoy. Synderen, always a pleasure, my friend. Are you list tomorrow? I've forgotten what the schedule says.
I don't. Well, I shouldn't be, so hopefully not.
Okay, all right. LD was doing the
I was
legwork.
casting today and yesterday. I'm not sure who you're with tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend, actually, but
I think it's TBD.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. Yesterday we had some kind of long games. Today we had some really short ones, but overall today was so action-packed. Some really kill-heavy games, which is always enjoyable to cast. So I had a good time, and yeah, good luck for the rest of the weekend. I hope you get some more good games, and that this year's Starladder becomes the best one yet. It looks like one of the really active kind of ones, at least.
Yes, absolutely. But if I don't know if Chad is trolling or not, but I think there were rumors of this patch coming out, Synderen, so things might get really interesting tomorrow with a new meta on our hands. So that wraps it up for us today, guys. I think I'm going to go stream for a little while and check out what's going on with this patch. We will have a rebroadcast coming up. The VODs for today are a little funky. We had connection issues, and Twitch was having some issues. So VODs will be delayed at the very least if they